All right, welcome on into another edition of the Thomas Sports Show. We are going to be talking about thoughts on Summerslam. And I know this angle here is not going to be the best when you upload it on YouTube. I know everyone wants it the wide way. We're going to go up and down, though, because it's most convenient from when I'm in transit. Talking some pro wrestling, man. And where do we start? So many places to start. With SummerSlam, to me, SummerSlam was probably one of the greatest SummerSlams in quite some time. You can even make the argument probably the best SummerSlam of all time, as I'm adjusting my glasses here. And this is just some overall thoughts overview, nothing, too long-winded. And I say that and watch. It goes up as long-winded, right? But yeah, I think, where to probably start would be with Roman Reigns. Our tribal chief has arrived. OTC, the original tribal chief, has arrived. Right? And we didn't know if he would arrive. It was not a guarantee that he would arrive at SummerSlam. I think a lot of us in our mind had projected that he would appear during SummerSlam. And, I think we're happy that he did appear in SummerSlam, or else we would be highly disappointed. Highly disappointed. I think the match went off well. Came off well. Considering the match against Cody Rhodes and Solo as best as it could, right? You wanted to keep that wave and emotion that they did in that match. And what I mean by that is you had Solo Sikoa, and Cody just laying there on the mat, and then you had one of the biggest pops that one could imagine in Roman Reigns. He makes his appearance, and then you kind of ride that wave with that pop with the finish of the match, and Solo and Cody Rhodes rode that momentum. And it was good to see that fans were still cheering for Cody. And can you believe it or not, it's finally been corrected. Where many years ago, the WWE, they wanted to have Roman Reigns as your face. The fans did not want that. Instead, he becomes one of the biggest heels, aligns himself with Paul Heyman, has a run with the championship that's probably unprecedented, goes away, and now comes back as one of the biggest baby faces there is. There I mentioned, probably right now, as far as wrestling goes, Roman Reigns could be considered, I think, the biggest megastar right now in the industry, and he comes back. And Solo Sikoa, now he loses. He's saying that he could get the job done. He loses. He loses to Cody in a bloodline rules match. So now what do you got to do? And now he is attacked by, he was attacked by Roman Reigns. Did you guys notice, by the way, the kind of the wink or the nod there between Roman and Cody? You kind of had to look, you kind of had to pay attention, but they kind of, you know, acknowledge each other kind of in a way, like, all right, you know, where, you know, Roman Reigns doesn't attack Cody, and it looks like Roman Reigns will be focusing on Solo Sikoa. So now, you know what's left for Solo Sikoa? He needs to get his heat back. The group needs to be more legitimate. The group needs to be legitimate again. They were made to look like Solo was made to look like fools, like a fool. Jacob Fatu, we don't know if he's injured, got banged up, wasn't able to get up from that, going through that table. The rest of the Tongans there were chased away by Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. We need to fear Solo Sikoa and that bloodline again. And what are they going to do? I think that the thing that makes the most sense is they need to attack Roman Reigns like a pack of dogs to get that fear back in to that group, for everyone to fear him. Because right now, Solo Sikoa not looking too fearsome in his group. Suffered an L. Probably that's the quickest way to do, is attack Roman Reigns. Now you might, and then you say, when do you see Roman Reigns? I don't know. Again, do you pick it up right away, or do you kind of stretch it out and see Roman Reigns a couple of weeks from now? I think this story has a lot of layers in it still. There's a lot of story to tell. I think we're going to see, you know, Roman Reigns forming up with, you know, the Usos again. And I'm sure there are a lot of Samoans and Tongans that could be in the WWE again, being signed soon, relatively speaking, because that seems to be their profession of choice, is professional wrestling. So we will see what happens with that. We acknowledge our tribal chief. We're glad that he is back. As for Cody, what happens with Cody? I don't know. I think we've been teased recently in the last couple of weeks here, and I think you might see something. Maybe Cody Roman Rhodes, Cody versus Randy Orton. Maybe, perhaps, is that in our future? We'll see what happens. But Tribal Chief was back. Cody versus Solo, I think, delivered, all things considered, and it didn't seem to be outshined by any other happening in that match. Dominic, some people say they wish that they could be in Dominic's shoes. Not when you have a raging mommy trying to capture you. I'll be interested in when watching Raw today, which is about 2 hours away. When watching Raw, to see what the explanation is, because it seemed like, at least a little bit to me, that Liv Morgan was caught off guard when Dominic comes up and gives her old smooch and stabs the knife in Rhea Ripley's back there. Just say that I want to hear the explanation. Was this a ruse all along? Are they going to just stick the knife even further deeper into Rhea Ripley's back? I think that is what will happen. That is what will happen. And Dominic better keep it running. I like that match between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. It kind of matched the story, right? In the sense of, you know, Rhea Ripley is so mad she's trying to chase Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is constantly on the run. It would make sense why they're running around the ring then, because she's constantly on the run. Doesn't want to be catched by Rhea Ripley. Why would you? Raging Mommy. Enough physicality in the match to go along with the story. You know, just when you thought during that match you're gonna see your betrayal there, and you're like, yeah, I knew Dirty Dom was always a snake in the grass. Dirty Dom makes you maybe pull back and realize, oh wait, okay, maybe this is not gonna happen. It's kept you know, the story going on a little bit longer in that spot where he's like, Mommy, you can't use that chair. Can't use that chair. So fools Mommy. Mommy's a little bit more secure. Continues to go along her business, listening to Dominic. Yeah, my Dirty Dom is really there for me. False sense of security, right? And then the knife in the back comes down the road a little further down the match. They posted something on social media to Dominic where it was something like, I think it was on Instagram or X, where he goes, she gets me, tags her, and then he's eating like a whole bunch of chicken nuggets, because he's like, this whole thing is like, he's like a man-child here, eating chicken nuggets, right? And that's the way to his heart. Just that simple. Chicken nuggets. It's going to be interesting to see. I love this story that is being told. And it's about storytelling, and I like that story. I'm all in. I'm hook, line, and sinker for the story of Mommy, Dirty Dom, and Liv. And I think the match played out perfectly the way you would have expected it to. Now, speaking of Judgment Day, that was the one explosion, one little bitty fire. And as much as I like to kind of put out fires in what I do in my job, not literal fires, but, you know, little office fires and office problems and work, yeah, you're not able to put out that fire with Liv and that fire with Liv and Mommy and Rhea Ripley. You weren't able to put it out. But then you had a full-on explosion when we're talking about when we're talking about Gunther and Damian Priest. Now, I like this match. I like Gunther. Always have been a big fan of Gunther. He doesn't fit the mold of a typical WWE wrestler, right? I mean, he's not flashy. He's like an old school wrestler, just, you know, beating up people. Straight up old school wrestler, just there to just beat up people, right? Nothing fancy, no flippity flops, and he tells the story with his physicality. You're never gonna see Gunther in a love triangle, at least I don't think, right? He's just there to chase and win champion. and win and chase championships. And there's rarely a time where he's not a champion. And when he is a champion, he's setting records and holding titles above his head, and he is unstoppable. Unstoppable, unbreakable. That's Gunther, right? Kind of old school, Terry Gordy. If you remember his physique too, back then, he was a little bit heavier, but he didn't get into shape, right? Because WWE is more of a cosmetic company. He was a little plumber, and that was by plumper, and that was by design, because he emulated. He was a fan of, I believe it was New Japan, which was more of the physicality, the brutality. Guys like Terry Gordy just grizzled, but he changed his look because he was told, hey, listen, this is a cosmetic. Cosmetic. It's about your face, your facial expressions, and they're very cosmetic company, right or wrong. Whether we want to, it is what it is. They're very of a cosmetic company, and that match that he had with Damian Priest. I remember Damian Priest from ROH. If we would have told me that Damian Priest, that version of Damian Priest in ROH would be, he's going to be world champion before, I would never believe you. I don't know, as far as this title reign, I wish there could have been just a little bit more done than where it was, right? I mean, he had relatively short title reign. I had, his title defenses were of 2, I believe. He defeated, I want to say, he defeated Jey Uso. Who else was in there? But he also won with tomfoolery in a recent. I wish that his reign would have been given a little bit more, I don't know, credibility. Maybe they were just kind of doing this to test the waters, so to speak, with Damian Priest, to see how he would be as champion. But Gunther wins. Look, sign me up for that. Let me see Gunther versus Sheamus. Let me see, maybe make it some way happen. Maybe, give me Gunther versus Randy Orton. Give me that physicality. Love that, love the style that Gunther has. And I think we will see Damian Priest in the title picture again. But jeez, oh my, Finn Balor, they were insinuating this along the way there with Finn Balor. He kind of had a inkling that would be the case with Finn Balor turning on Damian Priest, even leading up to this a couple of occasions where Finn Balor and Damian Priest were not always on the same page, and it kind of boils to a head right now. What is the underlying issue? I mean, that what I do sense, and it could be something as simple as jealousy, and it will make this story work, this new story. And I don't think you need a title, because there's so much history between them, like brothers, and on the road with each other non-stop 24/7. There is no reason why this cannot have so much emotion behind it, because they've been with each other for so long. I think this is a good story that necessarily does not need a title. I think this kind of Also, you know, the story between Finn Balor now and Damian Priest, but also what we will have now in regards to, you know, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and the Judgment Day. Now, I think the Judgment Day, as we all know it, it's gone. I think it is gone. You know, we kind of already have, it's weird, we kind of, when we see like Rhea Ripley by herself and Finn Balor by themselves, they're already like face, right? But when they're with the Judgment Day, they're like heels all of a sudden, because man to man, everyone likes to boo, especially down there in that group. But I think there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it now. I think Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley are full baby faces now, and you're gonna see the new version of the Bloodline. I mean, of the Judgment Day on Raw, running havoc and causing grief, I think, some way or shape, to Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. And you're going to see that develop in the coming weeks, I think. Be interesting to see what the story, how it unfolds here, involving Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Another good matchup too was CM Punk and Seth Rollins as a referee, and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, his whole social media game has been on point, has been fire. CM Punk has come back there with some zingers as well. And kudos, I think this match lived up to everything that it was built to be. Kudos for them being able to kind of keep the story going, keep it, you know, warm, especially since CM Punk was not able to do anything while he was rehabbing, trying to get cleared. That just shows you, I guess, you know, the power of being able to speak, the power of the promo, right? And glad to see that it looks like CM Punk was able to get this first match back under his belt. It's always that first match there that, you know, once you're done with the first match, I think it gets a little bit easier. You have that first match under your belt. Psychologically, you're able to kind of, you know, put everything in order inside of your brain there, and be like, all right, I could do this. Look, a lot of people will complain that he should retire already, that he looks, no. I think, listen, all things considered, you know, yes, injuries do take a toll, and remember that CM Punk is older now. But, you know, just enough was, that match was very brutal, very physical. CM Punk definitely, you know, held his own with Drew McIntyre there. He held his own. And this story, it continues, right? It continues. A man that said that, you know, Drew is basically a dum-dum there, and he gets in his own way. Ironically, what happened Summerslam was CM Punk now got in his own way. Yes, there was a little bit of tomfoolery there where the ref, you know, had his back turned and yada, yada, yada. But ultimately, it came down to a bracelet. Didn't keep his eye on the ball, didn't focus. And lost. And it just goes to show you, right? And you think that feud is over? No. You know, Drew McIntyre, I think on the post show there, I believe he said something to the effect of, well, it's over, I beat him, I humiliated him. No. You took his bracelet, which had his wife's and his dog's name on it. To you, to other people, that might not mean, that might not matter. That might just doesn't matter. But to CM Punk there, that's his wife and his dog, and you just added insult to injury, has sentimental value to him. Now look, he's gonna be after Drew McIntyre, and I think you know, this is a kind of a feud that could go well into the end of this year, on to the early next year, right? And you know, I'm happy that CM Punk is fine, relatively speaking. You know, I for one don't need to see CM Punk wrestle every single week. What CM Punk did with this feud, being able to carry it on the microphone. Now, granted, it's a two-way street. Your opponent has to be able to carry his own weight as well. But, you know, let's try to kind of keep things, you know, but let's just say that I'm glad that CM Punk is okay, and kind of, it seems like he might be beyond, well past the, kind of getting the cobwebs loose, or any rust gone. So happy about that. I am happy also in the fact of someone that finally has been able to get his due. I am happy for the fact that LA Knight has finally won a championship. I remember LA Knight, you know, from TNA, Dummy, yeah, even NWA, when he was there. Eli Drake, remember him, and he was always kind of a guy that, to me, had, you know, charisma, but he just wasn't, you know, on the big stage. To him, WWE was a dream, and he is there. He's finally there. You remember earlier on, he was in kind of the main event picture. Then they cooled him off. They cooled him off, but now he wins a championship match, a championship title, and now he's going to be with that title on TV, sure, defending it relatively every week or every other week, a lot more than Logan Paul's title defenses, right? Now I get why Logan Paul had the title, because his social media presence brings a lot of eyes and brings a lot of lookers onto the product to check it out, who maybe has not checked it out before. And the guy does not embarrass himself in the ring. Triple H said that, look, if he were to do this full time, imagine what he could be full time. And he is great. He does not embarrass himself in the ring. It seems like he wants to be a WWE superstar, and he's constantly, you know, improving, having, you know, training. But the fact is he still has commitments all over the place. LA Knight is going to be able to elevate that title again. But what is as equally, I think, important for LA Knight is he finally wins a big one. As much as we all like LA Knight, I kind of worried a little bit to myself, how much more will it start to die down for LA Knight if he does not win a championship soon? Will the Boo Birds be out and about if he does not win a championship soon? Starting to think that it might have been at that point. Gladly, we won't have to see if that was the case as he wins himself the championship. Glad to see that. Probably my least favorite match was Nia Jax versus Bayley. You know, still Bayley, you know, relatively, you know, I know that Bayley beat Damage Control, came up on top, but she was mostly beat down throughout that. She came out on top, but she did come out on top, won the championship. Relatively a short reign. I don't know. Just Bayley's reign seemed overwhelming. She was always being attacked. I don't know. I don't know where we go with Bayley from here. I know that Bayley, you know, prior years she was the hugger, and she had fans really, you know, especially the young fans, clamoring and just hooting and hollering. She got it really geared towards the kids. They went away from that. I don't know if that's something that they could go back to. I don't know. Just really, title reign was meh to me. You have Nia Jax now, and that whole dynamic with Tiffany Stratton, who I feel is, a lot of people say is the next big thing there. And we'll see what develops with that relationship. I do sense some kind of, what's the line I'm looking for? If you can't beat them, try to fool them. Going on with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, and maybe some false sense of security. I don't know. But, you know, I think that story will intertwine there between Tiffany and Nia Jax going forward. You know, I don't think Nia Jax is a placeholder. I think her title reign will be significant enough. I don't think they're going to hotshot the belt to Tiffany that quickly. So we'll see. Last match I want to get into, dominant, just a dominant performance there. Kind of the match, all things considered, you know, when you look at Sami Zayn's resume, the fact that he lost that championship match that quickly, that's probably the best thing to do for Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is already a beast, but having Braun Breaker win that championship that quickly just brings even more credibility to Braun Breaker and what an animal, what a beast he's going to be. I think that match was perfectly done. I think, you know, Braun Breaker is one of the next big thing there in Raw. And that leaves, I think, Sami Zayn to kind of now find his way back into the main event picture, main event scene. I think Sami Zayn is one of those guys where, you know, without even blinking an eye, you could see and you could justify him being on the main event scene, because he's that, you know, he's that good. He's that good. He always has that underdog, or plays that underdog well, and it just creates for such good stories. dare I say, maybe Sami Zayn and Gunther down the road. Man, I'm just putting Gunther with everyone, aren't I? Nonetheless, I think this was a very good SummerSlam. I'm looking forward to what we're going to see with on this Raw here after SummerSlam. I think we're going to see the Wyatt Six versus Alpha Academy and yada yada. So I think the Raw after SummerSlam quite a must-watch. Really, Raw has been and SmackDown has been a must-watch pretty much every week lately, right? Just a lot of great television, a lot of great storytelling. It's a good time for wrestling right now. A very good time for wrestling. Look, and that's how you look how many and there are so many, there are other angles here that you could justify that were on TV and didn't make SummerSlam, like Wyatt Six and Alpha Academy there. How about with Sonya Deville and her group versus Carter, you know, and Via Valkyrie, and then, you know, the other part. Just that's, you know, how things are firing on all cylinders. And listen, just because those stories didn't make SummerSlam, but the only reason why is because you're gonna have a 5-hour you're gonna have a 5-hour show. So, you know, especially with the way WWE's firing on all cylinders now, I wouldn't be surprised next year if we see SummerSlam for 2 hours, right? Something that could happen. But yeah, SummerSlam for me, you know, 9 out of 10. Just really no, you know, just really no room for complaint. Just a great show. Really good show. Great show. So I hope all is well. See you in my next videos.